Hello, welcome to another edition of Blase Blah.
Welcome to Blase Blah. How you doing? And I just want to say I got this clap from a young guy. I can't remember his name, and I will put that clap to him because he did this, and I thought that was such a cool way of digressing. What are we talking about, Steve? Right now,
We're talking about it's a bit of an old one in some respects, but it's still very current. Is PC political correctness? How is it affecting us today?
PC political correctness. How is it affecting us today? Everybody's very. We live in a different world, Steve, don't we?
We certainly live in a different world. I mean, what interests me particularly, think about, was PC-ness in terms of in the world of creativity. I mean, should the creative world have a bit of a sort of what's the word, amnesty on creating PC characters? Because for example, there was we were looking and a portrayal of Dennis the Menace, and when they did a remake of Dennis the Menace for the BBC, they actually took away his pea shooter, his gun, his catapult. But then if you take away that, you might as well take away his light. Dennis the Menace, that's what he's all about, isn't it? His catapult and his mischievousness. What are you left with? You're just left with a diluted version of everything once you start taking things away like that.
Society evolves, Steve. It evolves into different things. We look at the past and we try to improve from our errors.
Yeah, that's very true.
We evolve. Okay? So, sorry, I'm just trying to break it up. But we do evolve, all right? In all seriousness.
Okay.
We evolve. We change the way that we think. Look, my button's undone, but who cares? Let's keep it rapid. But anyway, we change, we evolve, and we look back. Like if you start looking back at before people used to say coloured.
I think you're going to say colour. I think you're going to say.
They'd say mixed race. They'd say Pakistanis. They'd say.
Well, Pakistani's alright, isn't it? But you can't say Paki.
Sorry, Pakistanis is fine, but you can't say Paki. These are all racist terms.
So it evolves. So that's a good thing, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, of course, society's got to change to certain degrees, but we've got to be, we've got to have some show some form of common sense about how we evolve in certain cases when it comes to comedy, humour, the intent of something. And I don't want to end up in a very bland society. I use this because the world we live in today, within multimedia, I've used this term before, and I got it from Dave Chappelle's show. We live in a world with people with brittle spirits. Yeah, brittle spirits. People so sensitive. There's got to be a level of sensitivity.
I mean, there's one example now that it was in the last year or so where on trains and underground they're now refraining from referring to people as ladies and gentlemen because they don't feel like it's inclusive.
To who? Who's offended by that?
Well, transgender, transsexuals, who haven't really quite made up their mind.
So what? The whole system has to change because they feel that way.
Well, that's a question that it seems.
No. Look, I don't want people. I want a world where people feel comfortable, but I also want a world where we've got to be there's certain things are not going to go my way. Yeah, certain things in society haven't got me as a minority or people I know, people from the Caribbean. I always seem to make up, but that's my background, so I've got to share the life I've known and the way I look at society. Or you're not going to get me. I'm just going to be like a shell of trying to please you and people who are watching. But what I'm saying is, there's people we've always known. We've always got the worst seat in the house.
Are you talking about on the train? Are you talking about literally on the train?
That's a very good point. Now, we've always, as I said, is that society, minorities don't usually get things in.
So you saying that basically you think we're being too sensitive towards some people's groups and needs, where we're not being sensitive enough towards other minority groups and needs?
Yes. If we're going to play, let's not offend people and let's be fair to everybody. Let's be fair to everybody. Yeah? And not one, because the LGBT and gay community, I'm all power to them. I fully, be who you love and who you want to be. But it gets to a certain stage, and they should have a level of respect. but let's not go overboard in cases.
But
Like
also,
even the Caribbean community, like, you know, we need some, and black people need to have a fairer society. We're trying to always fight that. But certain cases with arguments, with, you know, we can't go overboard. We've got to be realistic.
it does beg the
about being
question:
fair.
can you have a fair society? Can everything be fair? Can everything be equal?
No, nothing can be fully fair. I think nothing can be fully fair. But do you know, as I was saying about society evolves and we try to do better than our past, people in the past. Well, the funny thing is, I don't know, probably up to the 60s, maybe to the 70s, society was very rigid.
Yeah.
So they were very conservative in the past, wasn't they? They, you know, a woman could come up to a point of where a fault. So where women had to stay at home and work.
Okay.
Yeah. Where you know, they weren't very, but they believed in marriage and family togetherness.
Right, okay.
And if you swore and that, it was out of line. And then society got a bit more looser and free, and people started expressing all their thoughts and opinion, and that's how we got people. Our language has changed. We communicate differently, and which has made things more creative, made us look at things within humour, comedy, which has made us evolve. But now it's got to a point where it's like people are trying to control that.
The flip side to that is it actually suppresses dialogue, because if you're not allowed to say things, or you're scared to do so, it actually, because it's constraining, and it's not real, is it?
No.
You know, you're creating an unreal society. And also, to go back on the point you were making, it's like, why are we fairer to some minority groups when we're not so fair to other minority groups? You know, what's driving the LGBT campaign right now? I mean, that's like a massive thing, isn't it? I mean, you got to be completely careful when it comes to that now. You know, but for example, it's not that unpolitically correct. Excuse my language, to take the Mickey out of the Chinese still, for example. If you did a Chinese voice,
I've never. I don't know.
I don't know about that.
I don't know.
No, I do know about that.
I don't. You know.
Sorry, but no, but I don't think
It's more acceptable to do a Chinese voice, you think, Steve? I don't think it's acceptable at all.
Maybe.
In your social surroundings, Steve, maybe. I don't know. I don't. I mean, it's very hard to do accents. Yeah, unless you're doing. It's very hard to do accents.
Or
in general. So all right. Look.
So you did an Italian.
Let's be fair. All right. I'm gonna do Chinese voice. Okay. All right. Well, watch. A stereotypical image of a Chinese voice. Yes. They would in the past. So I'm bringing it up. Hello, how you doing? My name is. So that's it. Now that's this. Looking now, it sounds terrible. So now I'm going to do a Jewish voice.
Okay.
Yeah, and Steve's Jewish. Okay, so I'm going to do a Jewish voice. I don't know, how do you do a Jewish?
How do you do a Jewish voice?
How you do a Jewish?
I don't know, my son.
I don't. I'm terrible at Jewish.
No, that's
Jewish
okay. But would I actually take
Caribbean black voice or whatever? You know, we could do all of those things. Yeah.
But I wouldn't really take any. I wouldn't take any ill feeling of someone doing a Jewish voice.
It's the meaning.
The only thing that pees me off about attacks on myself as a Jew is about the Holocaust. That's the only thing that really winds me out. If people make jokes about the Holocaust, then I don't like that. That's taking it too far, because it's not a laughing matter.
Oh, well, they're making jokes about the Holocaust.
It's not.
Yeah,
it's a very dark comedy, the Holocaust.
That's a very, very dark one. But as saying that, you can make jokes about the Holocaust. I think you can.
No, I don't agree. I think that's an off
no,
limits.
I think you can. I think you're allowed to make jokes at it, and I will explain. If you're Jewish, okay? So Mel Brooks, I don't know if you know the guy. Yeah?
Of course I know Mel Brooks.
You know Mel Brooks?
Yeah.
Old school guy. Well, maybe some young people.
The best films ever. The
producers. Okay, I do recall in a lot of his films he did stuff about the Holocaust. Yeah,
he did. Well, the whole film about producers was about the Nazis.
Absolutely, but he was mocking the Nazis, but he also done and he would mock the Jewish community and elements of.
I don't mind. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I don't mind mocking the Jewish community.
But I'm not saying he's allowed to do that because he's Jewish. Whether you get offended or not, he's allowed to do that because the Jewish people will be. If I did. Let's say I did Mel Brooks' whole bits.
Right. Okay.
The Jewish community would be offended, yeah, because I'm not Jewish, and I'm not Mel Brooks, right? Which is understandable. They should be, all right, because their culture, their history, I am not qualified to be moving into
maybe I need to retract a bit and say tasteful jokes about the Holocaust.
Well, tasteful. I mean, look.
But
there's no jokes about the Holocaust is funny, right?
I mean, would you take?
But I'm just saying, if I think for a people, if you come from a culture, like black people can make jokes about black people, all right?
What about slavery?
Yeah, I mean, black people can make jokes about slavery with other black people, as in saying, man, you're acting like
a joke about slavery. I mean, would you like to tell it now?
I don't know. Have I heard any jokes about slavery?
Any good slave jokes? Have you got any good slave jokes?
Got any slave? Jesus Christ!
No,
it's just horrible.
Put you on the pressure.
No, I haven't. But what I will say,
okay, I suppose the one that used to upset me at school was the old joke about how many Jews can you get in a minute. It was like 2 in the back, 2 in the front, and 20,000 in the ashtray, which was a joke that was going around at school.
I remember that joke.
So I suppose I'm always like sensitive to that because I hate
that's
that.
A dark tip. Yeah. But there's the same one. There's something to the level of that. Oh, there's some negative ones.
Have you got an equivalent slavery one?
All right, there was a joke when I was not a slavery joke. Funny enough, it wasn't a mini slavery joke. I can't remember.
You haven't got a classic slavery joke.
There isn't a slavery joke. Not one that comes to mind.
We've got a classic Holocaust one, but you haven't got a classic slavery joke, have you?
Oh my god! But I do remember that Jewish joke. But there was also there was Jewish jokes and other negatives that we were not pick on the Jewish community. But there was ones where how sugar in a bowl with a fork.
How do you know a Jewish household?
How can you know in a Jewish house? This fork and a sugar bowl.
Well, I can live with that. That's not too bad. I can live with that.
A fork and a sugar bowl. But people you can live with that. That's what I'm saying. You can deal with the level of humour and sensitivity. There was one with black people with, oh my God, what do you call a black man with a job?
A liar? Was it a liar?
No, a liar or something like that.
What do you call a black man in the dock? The accused.
Okay, what do you call?
No, that's wrong. It's not.
What do you call a black man in
a suit?
In a suit.
In a suit.
In a suit.
Yeah, that's what it is.
It's something what they call the accused. Yeah, absolutely. So anyway,
but I don't really like that joke.
It's a bit dry. It's not that. It's not mug.
I don't mean like whether it makes you laugh. It doesn't really make me laugh, that joke.
No, I mean none of these jokes are really. I mean, we look back and we must say these are jokes from the past.
Very clever joke,
we're talking from early 70s to sort of early 80s. When we started moving into the 90s and stuff like that, those jokes were not unacceptable, weren't they? So you wouldn't communicate like that. Now they're offensive. They're at the time. Funny enough, we heard these jokes. But white people wouldn't say that to black people, and you wouldn't say it to Jewish people, and you wouldn't say an Asian joke to an Indian guy or whatever. People held these jokes in within themselves because it wasn't offensive. But sometimes you get. I remember my work colleague was Indian, and they used to call each other names, his cousins, and it sounds really gross. But they would say things like to each other, "Shut up, you silly packy," and they're Indian, right? But he'd say that to the cousin, and I'd be like, "Oh my God, I can't believe he just said that to his cousin." But they would be saying it to each other. But if I said it, it would be unacceptable.
You'd be in prison for it now.
No, but it'd be unacceptable for me to say that, because I wouldn't get involved in that. Just like the word N-word, black people in the thing they're calling each other N-word. We need to evolve from that. But they say that, "Yo, what's up, my N-word," right? And then you get white people saying, "Oh, why can't we use the word?" It's nothing to do with, like, they could call that with each other.
Everybody wants to be an M-word now, don't they?
Everybody wants to be an M-word. But, it's like, why do you want to say it so bad? It's not, it's that what they do. If white people might have jokes about, I don't know, what do white people joke about? I mean, white people is a massive term. There's so many different levels.
So sort of reining it in a bit. Do you think PC is ultimately a good thing? Or do you think?
Listen, we need a level.
Do you think it's better to have it? Do you think it's better to have it?
We've got to have common sense.
And have it gone a bit too far than to not have had it at all.
Do you want PCs at comedy shows? Do you want PCs at comedy shows?
No, but what? No,
right.
but
I don't mind.
But what I'm thinking about is it better to have not? If it was taken out completely, would you go back to the 70s? If it was a choice of, is it better to have it or is it better not to have it at all? What do you? I'm thinking probably it's better to have it. Even though it annoys me. Though it annoys me and it shouldn't be across the board, but it's still better to have it than to not have it, although it has gone too far.
I don't mind having it. Of course, we need to listen. We have to be for people in this world. We need to be fair. All right, to a certain degree. But then also, if there's certain minorities and people feel we need to. So if you want to feel, you don't want. It comes to. We've got to have comments. We need to police the PC police. Yeah. Because the PC police is going to create a world where everybody's walking on eggshells, and the hypocrisy in society.
Okay.
I think if you it can get to the point where it gets ridiculous, and it gets to the point where
you can't even have a robot called Mark.
You can't have a little Mark because you said you've named this after Mark Zuckerberg.
If he ever watches this, he'll probably get sued.
No, it's all fun and jokes. So I actually like you, Mark. You're starting to come across a little bit more human. We might have to get a human doll here because you're coming across a little bit.
That could blow the budget.
That could blow the budget. It's too much.
By the way,
once you subscribe more.
Yeah.
Well, if you
get a few views here and there, but we'd love some even subscribers.
Listen, man, we've only got 40 views, but it ain't about the views. It's about the quality of the videos because we're trying
about the fun.
Yeah, it's about the fun, and we're starting to get a little bit better at this. I think we're getting a little bit better, just a little.
Having more fun, aren't we?
Just having fun.
I don't feel like I'm in a straitjacket anymore.
Yeah, and I'm starting to get used to the way I speak. I'm trying to correct the way I communicate because I'm an ordinary dude and we're ordinary guys. But
we're just ordinary people, aren't we?
We're just ordinary people. But we're digressing from the PC police. What's the line of the level of sensitivity out there?
I think it has gone over the line. I think it is too sensitive. I mean, there are things like you can't even say black bin liners anymore. You can't say something it's a black bag. I mean, that's silly, isn't it?
That's silly. You can't say blackboard.
Can't say blackboard. You can't, and apparently you can't even say. What's it about Christmas now? Like some companies, you can't even put up a Christmas tree because you're meant to say. You meant to say something about Christmas, or you can't put up a Christmas tree. I mean, it's just at the end of the day, you've also got to cater for the majority as well, the mainstream. I mean, surely you're allowed to celebrate your own.
There has to be a level of tolerance, though, haven't there? There has to be a level of tolerance. It's got to be a level of common sense.
It's almost like you can't be, white British anymore. I mean, I don't actually class myself. I still class myself as being a Jew, really. But I feel sorry now for sort of you can't. It's actually a crime to be white British, which is obviously in some ways seems a bit ridiculous.
What do you mean? It's been a crime. How do you see that?
Well, because if you can't actually overtly celebrate your own holidays like Christmas, and you have to be aware of putting up Christmas decorations in your workplace with Christmas trees, which I'm sure like some boroughs have put a stop to, or that you have a watered down version of it. That just seems.
The thing is there a thing called white British? I mean, what is the culture of white British? I mean, where we start looking at it, it's sort of.
To me, it's obviously you have to be white.
You got to be white.
You've got to be British.
Yeah.
And I suppose you've got to be. To me, it's either whether you're Catholic or you're Church of England. I mean, that's how I perceive it.
I think what's happened is, I think people. I mean, culturally, I mean, white British are in this. It's a big place, but I think they're winning in a certain way. I mean, and if you turn on the television, there's white British everywhere. It's been dominating all over the place. I mean, if they're
not
upset,
the working classes, according to you, though,
not the working classes, and I will stand by the white working classes as well. I'm just trying. I would like for them to wake up. I don't want to turn it into a political conversation. But what I'm trying to say is that
it's all right because it's about political correctness, so you can turn.
Oh, yeah, but I do. All right. Well, we'll see. Well, what I'm saying is that I want the white working class people to wake up and realise it's not about colour.
You can't
use
the word packy anymore.
That you can't use the word packy. It's not the way forward.
It certainly isn't the way forward. Is it?
Yeah.
And sorry, and Chinese either. It's not acceptable to do a Chinese voice.
It's not acceptable to do a Chinese voice. It's not acceptable to do a Jewish voice. Unless you're
Although
Jewish.
But I wouldn't really mind if someone was telling a Jewish joke, even a non-Jew, telling a Jewish joke like that with his hands. And, if it's a good joke, and it's not.
Absolutely. I've seen white comedians do, especially African Americans. I mean, English comedians are so scared to do anything.
We had the other guy, Jackie.
I prefer American comedy. It's just much more.
Jackie Mason. Have you heard of Jackie Mason?
Yeah.
He really took the pee out of Jews and our sort of limitations on stuff like DIY and car mechanics and all that sort of thing. And it was very funny. but also actually I saw a gig once where down at Crouch End where a guy actually a non-Jewish guy took on a sort of Jewish Jackie Mason persona. It was brilliant. And he was dressed up and he had like a wig on and he took on that Jewish persona.
He took the whole thing.
Jewish. And
he wasn't Jewish.
No, he wasn't Jewish. Right.
Do people get offended by that? Could he get away with that? I'm sure that was a few years ago, Steve, because I remember when you used to go down there.
Yeah, it's probably about, what was it? It might be 10 years ago now.
Yeah, well, the world's changed now. He'd probably, he'd be in the newspaper. He'd probably be locked up. Be locked up with that. He's probably not allowed in any comedy shows across the UK. all I'm saying is,
he's probably in Parkhurst now.
I just want PC World to be out of comedy. Because you know why I'd be like...
in comedy, yeah, out of comedy. No, yeah,
out of comedy. Yeah. I don't want the PC world to be in comedy. I think comedy should be untouched. I don't think people should be able to criticise about comedy. If you don't like comedians speaking about the world we live in, just don't go see them. That's the one place it should be a no man's land. Comedy should be no man's land.
I agree, because it's like...
If you want to do right-wing racist comedy, you go ahead and do it. Go at it.
No, I agree, because it's not... it's basically, in novels... You can have serial killers in novels, but obviously, you can't. It's not very PC if your teacher's a serial killer. But otherwise, what do you do? Ban every characterization in novels. Well, water that down. So that's not. So the same way. You're right. I agree with you. Comedy should be
untouched. And don't play around with comedy. You allow comedy go through, and if you're offended by it, I'm so sorry. You should just move on. Even if they're racist, I want comedy untouched. You know why? Because comedy is the one place where people can criticise the hypocrisies and the nonsense in society that society doesn't analyse. And they will open the mirror and put the mirror to the world that we're not talking about. So I prefer comedy to be as free as possible. If you want to be homophobic, racist towards black people, towards Jews, towards white people, to whatever, or you're not racist now, you've got a view, an opinion, or whatever, you do whatever you want, and if people follow them, then we understand what society is.
Just make the Holocaust joke about the ashtray, and I'm happy.
Yeah, just take that away. Well, all right, take that away. That's thing. But this is what I'm saying. This is another point. If it what makes you happy, that makes you happy. So we can't go on Comedy Club, laugh about everyone else's jokes, and then you get upset because they say a joke that you don't like.
I suppose.
I'm offended, but you laughed at every other joke that they said.
That's true, but they never make jokes about white British, do they? Actually,
they do.
Left out.
They do. The Brexit
that's not really political.
They do to the Brexit voters, though, don't they?
Well, that's not a joke, though, is it? That's the truth.
I'm offended, and I think that you need to apologise.
Not white British, anyway.
But you know what I mean? Is that they would get offended by that? How dare you mock me and being a Brexit voter?
So, sort of maybe moving towards summing up. What do we feel?
Yeah, I'm just saying, what do you think about this PC world? I just want to know what's your opinion. Do you think we need to start really... is it gone mad? PC world gone mad?
Yeah.
Do you think that we need to start...
Put your comments up. We'd love to hear them.
Put a comment, make our first comment, and just subscribe. Maybe one person subscribe to us.
We'd love some subs. You know what? I can't say the word, but we'd love some of them anyway.
Yeah, don't worry. We'll get there. We'll
get there.
And every subscriber we get, we'll put Steve into some English lessons to get rid of his Jewishness. We're so offended. Subscribers, okay? Yeah, no, subscribe, and this is. That's about it, Steve. I think we've covered the PC world. Make a comment. What do you think about this PC world?
Yeah, let us know what you think, guys.
Let me know. And I hope we ain't offended anyone.
Ciao.